हेलो फ्रेंड्स, कैसे हो आप। अभी जो आज 4 मार्च को साइंस का जो एग्ज़ाम हुआ है सीबीएसई का, उसका पेपर सॉल्यूशन है। ऑल क्वेश्चन आंसर आपको इस वीडियो में देखने को मिलेंगे। वीडियो अच्छा लगे तो लाइक कीजिए, कमेंट कीजिए, शेयर कीजिए। शेयर करना ना भूलें और सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें, जैसे कि दूसरे को भी ये वीडियो का पता चले। तो सब सोल्व कर लेना। क्वेश्चन आंसर है यहाँ पे। क्वेश्चन ऐसा था, आंसर क्वेश्चन नंबर 3A to 3D, 4A to 4D on the basis of your understanding of the following paragraphs and the related studied concepts। एक पैराग्राफ दिया हुआ था, उसमें से क्वेश्चन के आंसर देने थे। The growing size of the human population is a cause of concern for all people. The rate of birth and death in a given population will determine its size. Reproduction is the process by which organisms increase their population. The process of sexual maturation for reproduction is gradual and takes place while general body growth is still going on. Some degree of sexual or for having and bringing up children. Various contraceptive devices are being used by human beings to control the size of the population. So, on the basis of this paragraph, ask this type of questions. First one is list 2 common signs of sexual maturation in boy and girls. So the answer is common signs of sexual maturity in boys: thickening of vocal cords due to which cracks in voice occurs. Second is initiation of sperm production. And common signs of sexual maturity in girls: shrillness in voice, initiation of ovulation, and menstruation. Second question is, what is the result of reckless female feticide? Answer is decline in the female to male sex ratio, gender disbalance. Third one is, which contraceptive method changes the hormonal balance of body? Answer is oral contraceptive pills, OCP. Fourth one is, write 2 factors that determine the size of the population. Answer is the rate of birth and death in a given population determines the size of a population. So this fourth type of question. Now here also gives one paragraph and you have to find out the questions on the basis of this paragraph. First question is, why is the maximum concentration of pesticides found in human beings? And the answer is, it is because they form the topmost tropical level in the food chain. Hence the concentration of these accumulated pesticides gets increased. Second question is, give one method which could be applied to reduce our intake of pesticides through food to some extent. So the answer is, we can switch to organic farming where naturally derived biopesticides and little or no amount of chemical fertilizers are used to cultivate the crops. And third one is, various steps in the food chain represent. So the answer is tropical level. फूड चेन क्या रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं? ट्रॉपिकल लेवल को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं. एंड फोर्थ वन इज क्वेश्चन इज, with regard to various food chains operating in an ecosystem, man is a. So the answer is consumer. अलग अलग टाइप के फूड चेन से ऑपरेट करने के लिए इकोसिस्टम में मेन कौन सा रिगार्ड्स करता है? उसमें कंज्यूमर होता है. ओके, तो ये फोर्थ क्वेश्चन आपने देख लिए. अभी दूसरा है, which one of the following is responsible for the sustenance of underground water? So the answer is diversion of our high water demanding crops. जो भी आप पौधा उगाते हो उसमें ज़्यादा पानी देना के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल होता है अंडरग्राउंड वाटर में, डिवर्जन फॉर हाई वाटर डिमांडिंग क्रॉप्स। उसके बाद ऐसा क्वेश्चन आया था, स्क्विरल इज इन स्केरी सिचुएशन, हिज बॉडी हैज टू प्रिपेयर फॉर आइदर फाइटिंग और रनिंग अवे, स्टेट द इमीडिएट चेंजेस टू टेक्स प्लेस इन इट्स बॉडी so that the squirrel is able to either fight or run. Answer is, in the scary situation, the adrenal glands of the squirrel starts producing adrenaline hormone, which helps us in responding to the 3F situation: fight, flight, and fright. Release of adrenaline in the bloodstream will cause an increase in breathing rate, blood pressure, and the flow of blood towards the limbs, hands and feet, so that the muscle can contract at a faster speed, helping the squirrel to fight or run from the situation. और उसके अलावा ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन आया था, व्हाई इज केमिकल कम्युनिकेशन बेटर देन इलेक्ट्रिकल इम्पल्सेस एज अ मीन्स ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन बिटवीन सेल्स इन अ मल्टीसेल्युलर ऑर्गेनिजम्स? उसका आंसर है, इलेक्ट्रिकल इम्पल्सेस आर ट्रांसमिटेड through the neurons, whereas the chemical communication initiated by the hormones are passed directly into the bloodstream. The nervous system has its limitations as it cannot reach all the parts of the body. Unlike the blood flow through which the chemical communication by the hormones can reach to all parts of the body. उसके बाद का क्वेश्चन है, डिफाइन द टर्म pollination. Differentiate between self-pollination and cross-pollination. What is the significance of pollination? पहले डिफाइन करना है pollination क्या है. Pollination is the process in which transfer of pollen grains from the another of the flower to the stigma of the same or another flower takes place. Then self-pollination का differentiate cross-pollination के साथ. First one is transfer of pollen from another to stigma of the same flower. Transfer of pollen from the another to the stigma of the different flowers. Changes of the introduction of variations are lesser. Changes of introduction of variations are more due to mixing of genetic material from two unrelated plants of same species for xenogamy only. Third one is higher chances of assured seed setting and relatively lower chances of seed setting as it requires is pollinators. And then answer of significance of pollination. The significance of pollination is to bring the male gametes near the female reproductive part, pistil, so as to facilitate meeting of male and female gametes, and this will result in fertilization with seed as the final product of sexual reproduction in the plants. उसके बाद ऐसा क्वेश्चन आया था, व्हाट आर homologous structures? Give an example. Is it necessary that homologous structures always have a common ancestors? Justify your answer. Homologous structure are organs that have common origin, same ancestors, but perform different functions. For example, a dolphin flipper, a bird's wing, a cat's leg, and a human arm are considered homologous structure. Yes, it is necessary that they should have a common ancestors. Otherwise, there won't be any similarity in the basic structure and body plan of the organisms. उसके बाद ऐसा क्वेश्चन आया था, ए और बी दोनों क्वेश्चन है. ए है, व्हाई इज देयर अ डिफरेंस इन द रेट ऑफ ब्रीथिंग बिटवीन एक्वेटिक organism and terrestrial organisms? Explain. तो फर्स्ट वन का आंसर देख लेते हैं. The aquatic organism depend only the oxygen present in the dissolved form in the water body. since the amount of dissolved oxygen is fairly low compared to the amount of oxygen in the air. The rate of breathing in aquatic organism is much faster than that seen in terrestrial organisms. उसके बाद ऐसा क्वेश्चन था, ड्रॉ a diagram of human respiratory system and label pharynx, trachea, lungs, diaphragm and alveolar sac on it. तो सब यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं, अलग अलग डिफाइन करना है, लंग्स कहाँ पे, alveolar क्या है, डायफ्राम कहाँ है, ट्रचिया, और ऑल ह्यूमन रिस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम आप डिफाइन कर सकते हैं. उसके बाद ऐसा क्वेश्चन आया था, नेम द ऑर्गन्स दैट फॉर्म द एक्सक्रीटरी सिस्टम इन द ह्यूमन बींग्स. तो उसका आंसर है, द organs of human excretory systems are, first one is a pair of kidneys, second a pair of ureters, third one is urinary bladder, fourth one is urethra, urinary bladder and urethra. Second question, describe in brief how urine is produced in human body. The main excretory organ in human beings is the kidney that releases about 80% of liquid waste from the body. Urine formation occurs in the kidney in three parts: glomerular filtration or ultrafiltration, selective reabsorption, tubular secretion. The efferent arteriole brings blood to the kidney and forms a bunch of capillaries in the Bowman's capsule. Glomerular filtration occurs in the Bowman's capsule where glucose, salts, amino acids, urea enters the filtrate. Water and solutes that are smaller than proteins are forced into the renal tubule where reabsorption of water, glucose, amino acids and needed ions occurs and returns them back to the blood. Tubular secretion removes additional wastes from the blood and adds them to the filtrate. Further, water is removed from urine and returned to the blood. Urine is sent to the collective ducts. तो पूरा यूरिन का प्रोसेस है, उसमें आपने कितना लिखा है वो भी आप देख लेना. बाद में क्वेश्चन है, व्हाट इज द लॉ ऑफ डोमिनेंस ऑफ ट्रेड्स, एक्सप्लेन विथ एन एग्जांपल. तो लॉ ऑफ डोमिनेंस वाज बेस्ड ऑन द रिजल्ट ऑफ मोनोहाइब्रिड crossing plants with one contrasting characters. When two homozygous plants with one contrasting character are crossed, the character which is expressed in the F1 generation is known as the dominant character, while the character which is not expressed in the F1 generation is known as recessive character. Example, if pure or homozygous tall plants TT, capital TT, are crossed with pure homozygous dwarf plant small tt, then we obtain all the plants in F1 generation 100% as tall plants. So tall plants male is gives the T of capital here, and dwarf plant female is gives the small t is here. So F1 is a hybrid tall plant, parent gametes and this hybrid tall plant. Then second question is, why are the traits acquired during the lifetime of an individual not inherited? Explain. So in the appearance of all tall plants proves the law of dominance. Answer is, acquired traits are the changes in the body which are not passed on to the offspring because this do not cause any change in DNA, germ plasma of the gametes, reproductive tissues. The absence of tail in the mouse after surgical removal and low weight of a starving beetle cannot be passed on the progeny as they are acquired traits and they do not cause any change in the DNA of germ cells. These changes occur in somatic tissues, hence are not transmitted to their progeny. Whereas an rudimentary ioplanaria is controlled by specific genes present in germ cells, which can be transmitted from generation to generation. Then ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन था. In an ecosystem, 10% of energy available for transfer from the tropical level to the next is in the form of. The answer is chemical energy, which we have to require in food. Then another question is soil fertility is determined by its ability to. Answer is support life. ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन था. List in tabular form two differences between binary fission and multiple fission. Then the answer is binary fission and multiple fission. First one is two daughter cells are formed from the splitting of the parent cells and or nucleus. Multiple daughter cells are formed from the splitting of parent cells or nucleus. Second one is this occurs during favorable conditions, and this occurs during unfavorable conditions. Divides only once, divides repeatedly. Both the nucleus and cytoplasm divide simultaneously. First the nucleus divides and then it's surrounded by cytoplasm. Includes a definite pattern of division, has non-definite pattern of division. And this is example of amoeba, bacteria, euglena, etc. And this example is Plasmodium, Sporozoans, algae, etc. Second question is what happens when the mature Spirogyra filament attains considerable length? Answer is when a mature Spirogyra filament attains considerable length, it simply breaks up into smaller pieces upon maturation. These pieces or fragments grow into new individuals. बाद में ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन था व्हाट इज जेनेटिक्स. आंसर इज जेनेटिक्स इज अ ब्रांच ऑफ बायोलॉजी कंसर्न with the study of genes, genetic variation and heredity in organisms. Second question, what are genes? Where are the genes located? A gene is the basic physical and functional unit of heredity. Genes are made up of DNA. Some genes act as instruction to make molecules called proteins. Genes are located in the chromosomes. Third question is state and define three factors responsible for the rise of a new species. Answer is speciation is the formation of a new and distinct species in the course of evolution. Three factors are first one is natural selection. Answer is natural selection is the differential survival and reproduction of individuals due to differences in phenotype. It is a key mechanism of evolution. The change in the heritable traits characteristics of population over generation. Genetic drift. Genetic drift is the changes in the frequency of an existing gene variant in a population due to random sampling of organism. The alleles in the offspring are a sample of those in the parents and chances has a role in determining whether a given individual survives and reproduces. Geographical isolation. Geographical isolation is a term that refers to a population of animal, plants or other organisms that are separated from exchanging genetic material with other organisms of same species. बाद में बायोलॉजी के सेक्शन के बाद अब केमिस्ट्री का सेक्शन देखते हैं. उसमें ऐसा क्वेश्चन आया था नेम ए साइक्लिक अनसेचुरेटेड कार्बन कंपाउंड. सो आंसर इज बेंजीन. दूसरा ऐसा था कैल्शियम ऑक्साइड रिएक्ट्स विगोरियसली with water to produce slacked lamb COO plus H2O COH twice. This reaction can be classified as. So answer is D. A and B means combination and exothermic reaction. And exothermic reaction is a chemical reaction that releases energy through light or heat and there is one product formed and hence it is a combination reaction. बाद में ऐसा क्वेश्चन भी था उसके अलावा, when hydrogen sulfide gas is passed through a blue solution of copper sulfate, black participate of copper sulfide is obtained and the sulfuric acid so formed remains in the solution. The reaction is an example of, answer is D, double displacement. Double displacement is a type of chemical reaction where two compounds react and the positive ions and the negative ions, cation and anion of the two reactants switch places, forming two new compounds or products. Double displacement is a type of chemical reaction where two compounds react and the positive ion and the negative ion of the two reactants switch places, forming two new compounds or products. बाद में उसके बाद ऐसा क्वेश्चन था, इन डबल डिस्प्लेसमेंट रिएक्शन such as the reaction between sodium sulfate solution and barium chloride solution. तो उसका आंसर था BaCl2 aqua plus Na2SO4 aqua is gives BaSO4 solid and plus 2NaCl aqua. बाद में ऐसा क्वेश्चन था, बेकिंग सोडा इज अ मिक्सचर ऑफ, आंसर इज सी, sodium hydrogen carbonate and tartaric acid. Baking soda is a mixture of sodium hydrogen carbonate, NaHCO3 and tartaric acid. It can be used for increasing volume and lightening texture of baked products. The chemical formula of plaster of Paris is, answer is C, CSO per half H2O. The chemical name of plaster of Paris is calcium sulfate hemihydrate because half molecules of water is attached with calcium sulfate. The chemical formula of plaster of Paris is CaSO4 2H2O. Incomplete combustion of coal and petroleum. So the answer is B, increase efficiency of machines. It increases air pollution and produces poisonous gas. Assertion gives this type. Esterification is a process in which a sweet smelling substance is produced, and reason is when ester react with sodium hydroxide and alcohol and sodium salt of carboxylic acid are obtained. So you have to find out this type of question. आपको ये पता करना है, ठीक है? Okay. Next one is 1 gram of copper power 1 gram of copper powder was taken in China dish and heated. What change takes place on basing? When hydrogen gas is passed over these heated substances, a visible change is seen in it. Give the chemical equation of reactions, the name and the color of the products formed in each case. So the answer is the copper powder is heated in the presence of air, oxygen. Copper reacts with oxygen to form copper oxide. The copper oxide formed in black in color. The black color is formed due to the oxidation of copper takes place. The chemical equation of reaction that takes place is given below. 2Cu plus O2, 2CuO, copper oxide in black. When hydrogen gas is passed over hot copper oxide, the black coating on the surface turns brown. As the reverse reaction takes place and copper is obtained. The reaction that takes place is CuO plus H2 gives Cu plus H2O. Copper is brown. ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन पूछा गया था, लिस्ट द इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोडक्ट्स ऑफ द क्लोर alkali process. Write one important use of each. So answer is important products of chlor alkali process is, first one is sodium hydroxide use. It is used for making soaps and detergents. Then chlorine. It is used in the production of bleaching powder. Hydrogen is used in the production of hydrochloric acid. ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन था उसके अलावा, हाउ इज वॉशिंग सोडा प्रिपेयर्ड फ्रॉम सोडियम कार्बोनेट? Give its chemical equation, state the type of this salt, Name the type of hardness of water which can be removed by it. तो उसका आंसर है washing soda is obtained by rehydration of anhydrous sodium carbonate. Na2CO3 plus 10H2O gives Na2CO3 into 10H2O. It is the basic salt. Na2CO3 can remove temporary and permanent hardness from water. Sodium carbonate is soluble, but calcium carbonate and magnesium carbonate are insoluble. The carbonate ions from sodium carbonate react with the calcium and magnesium ions in the water to produce insoluble precipitates. For example, calcium ion plus sodium ion carbonate gives calcium carbonate plus sodium ions. Ca plus 2 in aqua plus Na2CO3 aqua gives CaCO3 solid plus 2 Na plus aqua. बाद में ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन पूछा है 3 ml of ethanol is taken in a test tube and warmed gently in water bath. A 5% solution of alkaline potassium permanganate is added first drop by drop to this solution, then it's excess. So the answer of this type of 3 question, how is the 5% of KMnO4 prepared? So 5% you have to know, and this soluble in water. Then state the role of the alkaline potassium permanganate in this reaction. What happens on adding in excess? This is बाद में ज़्यादा अल्कलाइन हो जाएगा तो KMnO4 के साथ मिक्सअप हो जाएगा और राइट केमिकल ऑफ द इक्वेशन ऑफ दिस रिएक्शन, तो इथेनॉल का रिएक्शन अल्कलाइन है, KMnO4 में इथेनोइक एसिड बन जाएगा। बाद में ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन था कार्बन कैन नॉट रिड्यूस द ऑक्साइड्स ऑफ सोडियम मैग्नीशियम एंड एल्यूमिनियम टू देयर रिस्पेक्टिव मेटल्स। Why two are these metals placed in the reactive series? How are they metals obtained from their ores? Take an example to explain the process of extraction along with chemical equation. The metal high up in the reactivity series are very reactive. They cannot be obtained from their compounds by heating with carbon. For example, carbon cannot reduce the oxides of sodium, magnesium, calcium, aluminum, etc. to the respective metals. This is because these metals have more affinity for oxygen than carbon. These metals are obtained by electrolytic reduction. For example, sodium, magnesium, and calcium are obtained by the electrolysis of their molten chlorides. These metals are deposited at the cathode, the negative charged electrode, whereas chloride is liberated at the anode, the positive charged electrode. The reaction at cathode is Na plus electron gives Na, and at anode 2Cl minus gives Cl2 plus 2 electron removes. Now this type of question is the position of certain elements in the modern periodic table are shown below. After your two table, solve the 5 questions. Which element will form only covalent compounds? Is E. Answer is E. Which element is the non-metal with valency 2? Answer is B. Which element is a metal with valency 2? Answer is D. Out of H, C and F, which has largest atomic size? Answer is F. To which family does H, C and F belong? Is halogen समूह। ये हेलोजन वाला है फैमिली। ओके, बाद में ऐसा क्वेश्चन है डिफाइन एटॉमिक साइज, गिव इट्स यूनिट ऑफ मेजरमेंट इन द मॉडर्न पीरियोडिक टेबल. What trend is observed in the atomic radius in a group and a period, and why is it so? Answer is atomic radius is defined as the distance from the center of nucleus to the boundary of the surrounding cloud of electrons. The atomic radius can be further specified into 4 types: covalent radius, half the distance between two atoms of a diatomic compound singly bounded. Van der Waals radius, half the distance between the nuclei of atoms of different molecules in a lattice of covalent molecules. Metallic radius, half the distance between two adjacent nuclei of atoms in a metallic lattice. Ionic radius, half the distance between two nuclei of elements of an ionic compound. This term is measured in angstroms or picometers. Atomic radius decreases from left to right within a period. This is caused by the increase in the number of protons and electrons across the period. 1 proton. Now, this type of question asks, name the functional group present in a propane. So this type of group is, you know that, कीटोन. कीटोन समूह आएगा उसमें CO वाला. बाद में ऐसा क्वेश्चन भी था, द कंपाउंड ऑब्टेन्ड ऑन रिएक्शन ऑफ आयन विथ स्टीम्स इज आर. So answer is Fe3O4, and an element X reacts with O2 to give a compound with a high melting point. This compound is also soluble in water. The element X is likely to be, answer is calcium. कैल्शियम का मेल्टिंग पॉइंट हाई और soluble in water. ओके, नो ऐसा क्वेश्चन भी था, series of alcohol वाला formula second number and third number. Design a difference between molecular masses of the constituting member of homologous series. A series is different. 144 not. About 14 आएगा, 144 नहीं आएगा. क्वेश्चन ऐसा भी था, व्हाट इज रस्टिंग डिस्क्राइब्ड विथ लेबर डायग्राम एंड एक्टिविटी टू इन्वेस्टिगेट द कंडीशंस अंडर विच आयन रस्ट. तो रस्टिंग क्या होता है, तो Fe आयन जो होता है उसका रस्ट होता है, तो ऑक्सीजन के साथ और हवा में जो कोई झाग है उसके साथ तो ये प्रक्रिया करता है, रिएक्शन करता है. Fe plus O2 plus H2O, it gives rust. Fe2O3 into H2O. So this type of activity like boiled oil, boiled H2O UO2 gives, and that ions is ion type of. Then second one is not boiled. ठंडा लेना है, गरम लेना है, और ऐसे ही उसके ऊपर का कोई केरोसिन वगैरह डाल देना है. तो जो भी आयन है उसमें रस्ट लग जाएगा कब, ऑक्सीजन और पानी के अंदर होगा तब उसको रस्ट लग जाएगा. बॉइल्ड पानी में नहीं लग जाएगा और केरोसिन और ऑयल में भी नहीं लगेगा. ऐसा एक्टिविटी भी आता है, तो वो भी यहाँ आपको डायग्राम के साथ कंडीशंस वगैरह लिखना है. ओके, ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन था, व्हाट इज द थर्मिट प्रोसेस, वेयर इज दिस प्रोसेस यूज्ड. Write balanced chemical equation for the reaction involved. So thermit process, you have to define that, and you have to write down the Fe2O3 plus aluminium, and the oxidation of aluminium is considering, and that joins with oxygen. So L2O3 defined, and reduction of Fe. So oxygen is losses, so it gives only Fe. So where does the metal aluminum used in the process occurs in the reactivity series of metals, and name the substances that are getting oxidized and reduced in the process. ऐसा होता है एल्यूमिनियम का ऑक्सीडेशन होकर Al2O3 और Fe2O3 का रिडक्शन होकर Fe बन जाता है. The change in magnetic field lines in the coil in the cause of induced electric current in it. Name the underlying phenomena. The phenomena responsible for the induction of current in it is electromagnetic induction, EMI. उसको EMI बोलते हैं. The laws of reflection hold true for all reflecting surfaces. And उसके अलावा ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन था, when an object is kept within the focus of a concave mirror and enlarged image is formed behind the mirror. This image is virtual and erect. इस टाइप का भी क्वेश्चन था, at the time of short circuit the electric current in the circuit answer is increase heavily. और ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन था, two bulbs of 100 volt and 40 watt are connected in series. The current through the 100 volt bulb is 1 ampere. The current through the 40 watt bulb will be also 1 ampere. Here the explanation. With low resistance in the connection, a high current exists, causing the circuit to draw a large amount of energy in a very short time. Hence, during a short circuit, the current in the circuit increases heavily. And same amount of current flows in all devices when connected in series. Here gives assertion and reason. In the process of nuclear fission, the amount of nuclear energy generated by the fission of an atom of uranium is so tremendous that it produces 10 million times the energy produced by the combustion of an atom of carbon from coal. And that reason the nucleus of a heavy atom such as uranium, when bombarded with low energy neutrons, splits apart into light nuclei. The mass differences between the original nucleus and the product nuclei gets converted to tremendous energy. So the answer is the amount of energy liberated during nucleus fission is tremendous, almost 10 million times the energy produced by a single carbon atom. Then this type of question, why is Tyndall effect shown by colloidal particle? State 4 instances of observing the Tyndall effect. So the answer is the Tyndall effect is the phenomenon in which the particles in a colloid scatter the beams of light that are directed at them. This effect is exhibited by all colloidal solution and some very fine suspension as governed by the Rayleigh scattering. The intensity of scattered light depends on the density of the colloidal particles as well as frequency of the incident light. Instances of Tyndall effect. The visible beam of headlights in fog is caused by the Tyndall effect. The water droplets scatter the light, making the headlight beams visible. Shining a flashlight beam into a glass of milk is an example of the Tyndall effect. The second one is asked, differentiate between a glass slab and a glass prism. What happens when a narrow beam of first one monochromatic light and white light passes through, and glass slab and glass prism. So first one is the differentiated prism and glass slab. In glass slab, the incident ray of light is not parallel to emergent. In glass slab, it is parallel. The phenomenon of dispersion occurs in a glass prism. Dispersion does not occur in a glass slab. Glass slab in a monochromatic. When a monochromatic beam of light passes through a glass slab, the light ray suffers a lateral displacement while the incident light ray is parallel to the emergent ray. And second one is white light. In case of white light, also the beam of light will be deviated from its original path with a lateral displacement, but the opposite sides are parallel and therefore different colors emerge parallel to each other and are seen simultaneously. And B1 is the glass prism, monochromatic. In the case of monochromatic light, the ray will bend due to refraction, but it will not show dispersion of light. And second one is white light. When a white beam of light is allowed to pass through the prism, it will get dispersed into its seven color component of spectrum of light. The splitting of light into its component color is called dispersion. Then ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन आया था, ड्रॉ ए लेबल डायग्राम टू शो रेडिस appearance of the sun at the sunrise or the sunset and white appearance of the sun at noon when it is overhead. So you have to write and draw this type of diagram. Here is a place of observer, and there is on upper side sun nearly overhead, less blue scatter, and sun near horizon that gives blue scatter away sun appears reddish. So first following diagram demonstrate the reddish appearance of sun due to the phenomena of atmospheric refraction. And when the sun is nearly overhead, the light emerging from the sun suffers less refraction, hence the appears white. Then this type of diagram gives voltage and ampere or current graph. Nichrome wire as given below. What do you infer from this graph? Draw a labeled circuit diagram to obtain such graph. तो ग्राफ से पता चलता है कि 0 से 0.6 तक करंट बढ़ता जा रहा है और 0.4 से 2 तक वोल्टेज बढ़ता जा रहा है, कॉन्स्टेंटली बढ़ता जा रहा है. The graph suggests that the current flowing in the conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across the conductor. The slope of the graph is the resistance of the conductor. So R is equal to रेजिस्टेंस का वैल्यू क्या बताएगा, तो वोल्टेज का डिफरेंस निकालना है और उसके डिनोमिनेटर में करंट का डिफरेंस निकालना है. तो 0.8 माइनस 0.4 अपॉन 0.3 माइनस 0.2, तो 0.8 में से 0.4 निकालो, 0.2 में से 0.1 निकालो, तो क्या बचेगा, तो यहाँ 0.4 बचेगा, डिनोमिनेटर में 0.1 बचेगा, तो आंसर आएगा 4 ओम. तो प्रोपोर्शनली 4 ओम का यहाँ पे रेजिस्टेंस बता रहा है, तो आर मिल जाएगा. बाद में ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन है, राइट द मैथमेटिकल एक्सप्रेशन फॉर जूल्स लॉ ऑफ हीटिंग. तो जूल का लॉ ऑफ हीटिंग आप देख सकते हैं. द अमाउंट ऑफ वर्क डन व्हेन एन इलेक्ट्रिक चार्जेस मूव अगेंस्ट द पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस विच इज डिनोटेड by V is given by, so W is equal to V into Q. From the above expression, V is equal to W upon Q. We know that V is equal to IR and Q is equal to IT. So put the value of that. Therefore, I is equal to Q by T. Let us substitute second equation and third equation in one equation. We get the W is equal to IR into IT is equal to H, where H is the amount of heat produced. It is expressed in joules J and I is expressed in terms of ampere. Therefore, we can write that I square RT, W is equal to I square RT. So H is equal to heat of amount, that I square RT. And second question, compute the heat generated while transferring 96,000 coulomb of charge into 2 hours through the potential difference of 40 volt. So you have to just multiply this and you have to find out the power. I square RT, heat of the amount. We just discussion about this I square RT. So multiply and give whatever the answer is. Okay. After the question that, here one more question. Draw a ray diagram in each of the following cases to show the formation of image when the object is placed. First, between the optical center and principal focus of a convex lens. Second is anywhere in the front of concave lens. Third one, at 2f of convex lens, state the signs and values of magnifications in the above mentioned cases, first and second. So solution of first is this type magnifying lens. Here is the object and here is the image which you have to बाद में एक आप यहाँ पे एक रे यहाँ से F से निकलेगा और दूसरा C से निकलेगा और उसको पीछे लेके जाते हैं तो बाद में उसका इमेज है वो नॉट रियल मिलेगा। m ग्रेटर देन 1 के लिए मिलेगा यहाँ पे इरेक्ट, इनलार्ज और वर्चुअल। ओके, ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन था, एन ऑब्जेक्ट 4.0 इन साइज इज प्लेस्ड 25 सेमी इन फ्रंट ऑफ कॉनकेव मिरर एंड फोकल लेंथ 15 सेमी। So first is find out screen to be placed in order to obtain in a sharp image. Find the size of the image and draw a ray diagram to show the formation of image in this case. So h0 4 semi, u is equal to minus 25, f is equal to minus 15. Now you have to know that 1 upon v plus 1 upon u is equal to 1 upon f. So v is equal to minus 75 upon 2. Answer is given. And m is equal to hi upon h0 minus v upon u. So h0 is places in front of this side, so that multiply h0. So we have to give the value put into this, and after solution of these values we have to obtain this type of value minus 6 or draw this type of diagram, in this case concave mirror. This is the v value, this is the object, this passes through f and this passes through in pole, and we have to get here image. This distance is v, here is c and f. Okay, now further move. What is an electromagnet? List and two uses. So an electromagnet is a device which is used to generate magnetism. When electric current is passed through it, it can be made by winding conductivity wire around the core, and that uses is in magnetic latches used in cranes for lifting metallic objects. Draw a label diagram to show how electromagnet is. आपको लेबल डायग्राम उसका बनाना है इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेट का, और बाद में स्टेट द पर्पस ऑफ सॉफ्ट आयरन कोर यूज्ड इन मेकिंग एन इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेट. Soft iron core is used in electromagnet to increase its magnetic strength, and list the two ways of increasing the strength of an electromagnet if the material of electromagnet is fixed. The strength of the electromagnet can be increased by increase the number of turns of the coil by increasing the magnitude of current. बाद में एक ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन आया था, स्टेट द रिलेशन correlating the electric current flowing in the conductor and voltage applied across it. Also draw a graph to show this relationship. So we have to know that V proportional to I and V proportional to R. So V is equal to IR. Here we have to draw the graph with proportional to the relationship between the V and R. So this type of proportional is straight line we have to draw, and that proportional to V and R between the same value. दोनों में सेम वैल्यू के साथ ड्रॉ करना है, और उसका जो भी एंगल आता है उसको थीटा कहते हैं, तो थीटा tan थीटा इज इक्वल टू आर मिलता है। तो इससे आपको पता चलेगा V और I का प्रोपोर्शनल क्या है। और ऐसा भी था, फाइंड द रेजिस्टेंस ऑफ अ कंडक्टर इफ द इलेक्ट्रिक करंट फ्लोइंग थ्रू इट is 0.35 ampere when the potential difference across it is 1.4 volt. So इसका आंसर सिंपली मिलेगा R इज इक्वल टू V बाई आई। सो V इज इक्वल टू आई आर तो आपको पता ही होगा। तो R को अब कांस्टेंट में ले लोगे तो V अपॉन आई करना पड़ेगा, तभी इसका कांस्टेंट वैल्यू मिलेगा। तो V का वैल्यू है 1.4 अपॉन R का वैल्यू 0.35। सो आंसर आएगा 4 ओम। तो दिस इज द फाइनल आंसर ऑफ R, 4 ओम। अगर आपको ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा हो तो प्लीज़ लाइक सब्सक्राइब कीजिए।